Hey guys, it's Chris Chamberlin here, and we are back in the lab today. If you're liking these videos, please make sure that you check out the lab workout playlist. In today's workout, we're gonna be incorporating 3 different pieces of equipment for a total body workout. We're gonna be using the RMT Club, as well as dumbbells, or pair of dumbbells, and then we're gonna be using like a 45 centimeter ballast ball or sort of like exercise ball. If you don't have access to that, any sort of med ball or even a pillow or something will be good for that later. Let's go ahead and get into this workout. All right guys, we're gonna get into our first little work set here. This is a rotational movement block. That means we're moving from one side of the core to the other. We're gonna be doing 3 different exercises in this block for about 3 to 5 sets of 8 to 12 reps each. We're gonna start things out with a RMT burpee, is what I like to call that. So we're gonna be focusing on switching from side to side in that. We're gonna hit the ground with our dumbbells. We're gonna do sort of this like high pull to kick through. And then we're gonna hit up our RMT Club for this sort of like kayaking, sort of chambered crunch, as I like to call it. All right, so we're gonna start things out with this RMT burpee. I'm gonna sort of give you guys sort of this like 3/4 shot of it so you can see both sides of it. What we're gonna be doing, so like a traditional burpee, we're gonna be hitting the floor, getting down into that like sort of normal push-up position. I won't be super specific here, other than saying that I might want your heels to be wide as you hit the bottom here. Absolutely go for that full push-up as you do it. Now what's gonna be a little different, a little spicy here is as we jump up, so instead of jumping straight up, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add this little bit of like vertical rotation. So I'm gonna jump up, I'm gonna drive my left knee up, left elbow down towards this back pocket, and my right elbow is gonna sort of weaponize or reach straight ahead as I do that. I'm gonna drop down, I'll do the same push-up or bottom of that burpee, and then as I come up for the next rep, I'm gonna switch to the other side, weaponizing the left elbow and driving that right elbow down to that right hip, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm just gonna crush some full speed reps here. They're a little fast, so I just want you to see a couple in succession. We're gonna go ahead and hit that bottom, up, boom. All right, now what's really important with that too as you're doing it, I'm not adding this like nasty crank or full twist into that. It's all about getting up and down as I move through that, all right? Great work with that one. We're gonna pop down to the ground now. So as we're gonna pull up our dumbbells here. We're gonna play around with sort of like a traditional kick through. So like something very similar you'd see in like a lot of wrestling drills, things like that. But we're gonna go ahead and add this sort of dumbbell high pull into it, or variant. So the base position I like to take with this is sort of a plank position where I'm gonna actually be turning the thumbs back towards me. All right, so that's gonna get me super fanned and long in my shoulders. I'm gonna turn to 3/4 here. And then I'm trying to keep the shoulders towards my hips when I'm in this position. I'm gonna take my left through, I'm gonna step through and kick, and I'm pull this right dumbbell up to my shoulder. I'm gonna park it right back down to the ground, and then we're gonna switch to the other side. So that kick with the right, pull up with that left arm towards that armpit, park it right back down to the ground. All right, we're gonna go through a couple in succession. All right, great work with that one. Again, really focusing on trying to root into that side body as we're doing that kick through. Last one here, we're gonna pull out the RMT Club. We're gonna sort of act like we're doing like a seated kayaker's position. We're gonna kind of implement elements of that with like a bicycle crunch as well. So I'm gonna take the club sort of with this underhand grip like so the pinky is towards the club head, thumb is down on the top hand on top of the handle. We're gonna get back and do a fully sort of like hollowed bicycle or single leg position here. I have the club head at my knee. I'm gonna sort of crunch up and chamber the club and then come right back down. So I'm trying to create that moment right here as I pull the opposite knee in, where I feel that aggressive shift in the club head, and then that's gonna send me back out to that bottom position, all right? We'll do about 8 to 12 in a row here real quick. All right, and again with that, really just focusing on the shift happening as I draw the club towards that right side of my body. And we'd absolutely do the other side for me. All right, so again, that's a wrap up that little RMT block. We have RMT burpee, we have that kick through to high pull, and then those like kayaker crunches. All right guys, before we get into the next block, if you're liking these videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Now let's get into this Coiling core block. We're gonna be using this dumbbell as well as this RMT Club for this. In this Coiling core training, remember, we're really trying to focus on staying in this like side bend throughout it. So we're gonna lock into this sort of intent of this like core side bend. We're gonna be going through first exercise, again, about 3 to 5 sets, 8 to 12 reps. We're gonna be doing sort of like dumbbell complex. We're gonna play around with like a step high pull to a reverse lunge snatch, and then sort of repeat that cycle throughout. And that's gonna count as a rep when you complete the cycle. Second move we're gonna do with the RMT Club, we're gonna play around with a high to low chop and really take advantage of that shifting weight within it. So let's go ahead and get started here. First movement, again, this dumbbell high pull to dumbbell snatch. So I'm gonna take sort of a staggered stance and I'm gonna shift all of my weight into my left foot in this case, all right? I'm gonna keep my eyes straight ahead and directly on a target. When I go to reach for the dumbbell down in between my legs here, I'm gonna make sure my thumb is backwards and my pinky is forward. That's gonna help assure that I'm staying off to this left side of my body or in this left coil or side bend, all right? So from this position, I'm gonna drive up for like a triple extension and I'm gonna create a high pull where I'm also gonna step. So slow-mo here, it's a big pull, step, and then I'm gonna recover and step again and catch it back in that same position. From there, I'm then gonna step back in a reverse lunge as I drive up to catch this into a split snatch, like so. And then I'm gonna drive back, right back to my original starting position, all right? So we'll do it, again, a couple things to really focus on this, really making sure you're keeping that weight over top of this side or that intention into that side bend over here. And I'm just gonna show you a couple in a row. So here, boom. Awesome. Again, nice coordination to that, a little complex. Take your time with it, use the lightweight, and you'll crush it. All right, moving on from there, we're gonna grab our RMT Club. We're gonna play around with sort of like a basic high to low chop, but we're gonna get that advantage of really creating that moment or event at the bottom of the chop with that shifting weight within this club. So, sort of just a standard grip on this. I always like to choke up towards that club head as much as possible, just to have as much control over it as possible and let it sort of adjust as needed throughout the movement. Got that thumb up on the bottom of the handle. I'm gonna place the club sort of directly over the shoulder, so it's resting on the shoulder. I like to have all my weight on this back leg to start, but I'm living in the side bend on this left side. Got that heel pivoted. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come down for that chop. As I do it, all the weight shifts to here. This foot is gonna pivot, that heel is gonna go out. I'm gonna create that moment or that shift at the bottom of this chop within that club, and then that's gonna sort of return me back up. So we're really gonna emphasize that hit at the bottom. You could take your time getting back to the start or use that energy and that shift to return you quickly. It's sort of up to you, the intensity you wanna take on it. Let's show it full speed now. All right, so a couple reps for you. Again, 2 exercises this block. We are doing one side. We showed one side, so we wanna make sure you hit both sides of that. It's 3 to 5 sets, about 8 to 12 reps on each side. All right, guys, moving into our last block here. This is that bilateral block, so we're gonna be playing around in the middle. We're not trying to incorporate a side bend within this. We're gonna be using that 45 centimeter ballast ball. Again, if you didn't have this, you can use a med ball. You could use like a couple pillows, some thick pillows, something of that nature, something we can just squeeze and compress on. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this up. We got 2 different moves we're gonna hold. I'll just demonstrate it for a couple seconds, but you would wanna do this for about 2 to 3 sets of about 30-second holds, transitioning between these 2 movements. First one's gonna be like a forward fold, where we're gonna create compression in the ball. So I'm gonna wrap around this. I'm really gonna focus on like creating this nice like rounded upper back and keeping the shoulders as low as possible throughout it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take like a traditional like forward fold or just toe touch type idea here. So I'll hinge at the hip, I'm flaring the heels out, all of the weight is shifted forward into that outside edge of the foot. When I go for this forward fold, I'm actively trying to squeeze this ball into my chest. I'm actively trying to lengthen my neck. Okay, and really trying to like round that upper back while still keeping the shoulders reaching for the hips. So we just go down here, we'll hold for about 10 seconds. Cool. All right, and throughout that, just making sure you're sort of running your checklist, keeping that weight forward, the heels out, squeezing, keeping the shoulders low, all right? Second movement, so right as you finish that, right, we're gonna transition, we're gonna go down for sort of like a toe squat where the heels are actually gonna elevate a little bit. Instead of still staying rounded here with the shoulders low, we're actually gonna draw the shoulders low and we're gonna try to push our chest through the ball. Now naturally that's gonna make your chin want to go up at first. I want you to chuck your chin aggressively, really aggressively, keep those shoulders low. And you're gonna try to get your spine and your shins, like your shin angle and your spine angle to sort of match each other here. And we're gonna just squeeze that ball as hard as we can for another 10 seconds. This one, we're really trying to contract the low lats. Awesome. All right, so finish those 2 holds. We do another 2 sets of it or so. Again, 30 seconds each. Great job in today's workout, guys. If you need to, just adjust that intensity up or down depending on how hard the workout was for you today. If you have any questions, please comment below, hit the like button for us, subscribe, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. We'll see you next time in the lab.